Welcome to Israel Now News. I'm Erin Viner.
And I'm Yochanan El Rome.
In our top story, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has signaled that the time has come for Israel to take complete control of Gaza. A senior source close to Netanyahu said, "The die is cast. We are going for a full occupation of the Gaza Strip." The Israeli army currently holds about 75% of the territory. Netanyahu believes that since the Hamas terror organization is not negotiating in good faith regarding the release of the Israeli hostages it is holding under horrific conditions, military force is the best way to achieve the goal of freeing them, while terminating Hamas rule in Gaza once and for all. Leaders of the Islamist terror group have renewed their threat to murder all of the remaining Israeli captives if the army pushes into the so far uncontrolled areas.
The Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad terror groups have released videos of starving Israeli hostages. The clip from Hamas shows 24-year-old Eviatar David. He appears extremely emaciated and skeletal. At one point, he's seen digging what he says is his own grave. A second video is of hostage Rom Braslovsky. He's being held by Palestinian Islamic Jihad terrorists. The 22-year-old Braslovsky appears emaciated, tortured, and pleading for his life. He said he is unable to stand or walk and that food and water have run out. A senior Israeli source told Channel 12 News that Hamas captors are not short of food and are deliberately starving the hostages. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reacted angrily when he saw the videos. He said he was horrified and accused the Islamic fanatics of starving the hostages like the Nazis starved the Jews. Netanyahu said he was more determined than ever now to free our kidnapped sons, to eliminate Hamas, and ensure that the Gaza Strip will never again pose a threat to the State of Israel.
Meanwhile, the claim that Israel is starving Gazans is a fake famine narrative orchestrated by Hamas. Israel's COGAT, Coordination of Government Activities in the Territories, insists that aid is flowing in by land crossing as well as by airdrops every day. Officials underscore that it is Hamas that is starving its own people. The terror group steals the humanitarian supplies to sell to the Gazan public at inflated prices. Israel is working with the United Arab Emirates, Jordan, Egypt, Canada, Germany, and Belgium to arrange air deliveries of food and additional basic necessities to residents of the war zone.
A high-ranking delegation from the administration of U.S. President Donald Trump made a first-ever official visit to the city of Ariel in Samaria. The group was led by Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House of Representatives. The Louisiana Republican is the third most important office holder of the U.S. government, according to the Constitution. He's the highest-ranking political leader ever to visit Judea and Samaria in his official capacity. Joining Johnson were Mike Huckabee, the U.S. ambassador to Israel, and Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the governor of Arkansas. Johnson said the Bible teaches that Judea and Samaria were promised to the Jewish people. They belong to you by right. Ambassador Huckabee added that America has many allies, but only one true partner, Israel.
The Trump administration is getting tough with American states and cities that support the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement against Israel. The federal government will withhold disaster funding to those who choose to participate in the hate campaign against Israeli companies. Kristi Noem, Secretary of Homeland Security, has vowed that her department will enforce all anti-discrimination laws and policies, including how they relate to the BDS movement, which is expressly grounded in anti-Semitism. States and cities must certify that they will not cut off commercial relations with Israeli companies if they want to continue to receive money from FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency. At stake is nearly $2 billion in aid relied upon for search and rescue equipment, emergency management salaries, backup power systems, and more.
Brown University has agreed to pay $50 million to end its anti-Semitism squabble with the administration of U.S. President Donald Trump. The deal allows the Rhode Island school to regain its federal research funding that was canceled following allegations of anti-Semitism on campus. The agreement requires Brown to improve the campus climate for Jewish students. As part of that effort, the university will renew partnerships with Israeli academics, encourage Jewish day school students to apply, and hire an outside organization to monitor the situation.
The Israeli Air Force has ordered KC-46A refuelers to replace its aging fleet of Boeing 707 tanker aircraft that are over 60 years old. The new planes will enable the country to carry out long-range missions against hostile threats. The KC-46 has a range of nearly 12,000 kilometers, which is a little more than 7,456 miles. It can refuel jets with 1,200 gallons of fuel per minute. It also has wing air pods so that it can refuel 3 fighter planes at the same time within just 3 to 4 minutes. The KC-46 are strategically important aircraft that will facilitate IAF strikes on distant targets such as Iran and Yemen. The deal with the U.S. government is for up to 8 tankers at a cost of approximately $930 million.
A lawsuit has been filed against UNRWA, the United Nations Relief and Works Agency. The move was taken by U.S. citizens and relatives of individuals who were victims of Hamas and Hezbollah. The suit alleges the UN agency, which deals solely with the Palestinians, should be held liable for aiding and enabling the terror groups. The New York Times said the legal action was filed in a Washington, D.C. federal court after the Justice Department ruled that UNRWA is not entitled to immunity from U.S. lawsuits. The victims claim that UNRWA provided material aid to Hamas and Hezbollah in violation of anti-terrorism laws.
In financial news, the Palo Alto Networks cybersecurity company based in California has announced plans to purchase the Israeli CyberArk firm for a whopping $25 billion. This is the second largest acquisition of an Israeli business ever. Palo Alto will pay CyberArk shareholders $45 per share, plus give them shares of its own common stocks. CyberArk specializes in identity security, including privileged accounts on corporate servers aimed at ensuring that businesses can protect their sensitive data and critical infrastructure against external attackers or malicious insiders. Palo Alto hailed the move as part of its strategy to integrate identity security as a new core pillar of its platform to assist its more than 70,000 customers respond faster to emerging artificial intelligence threats.
Sheba Medical Center is joining a NASA and SpaceX mission to the International Space Station for a study on the extreme conditions of space. Sheba's ARC Digital Innovation Center will partner with the U.S. firm Space Tango to grow several bacterial species under microgravity conditions aboard the ISS. It is known that astronauts are more likely to develop infections due to a combination of microgravity, radiation, stress, and changes in the human microbiome. On the other hand, an earlier study by the ARC Space Lab found that bacteria in space are less likely to develop antibiotic resistance. Sheba ARC Director, Professor Ayal Zim-Lechman, said to understand the limits of medicine, sometimes we need to go beyond the limits of Earth.
Divers, swimmers, surfers, and even beachgoers have been treated to the sight of rare aquatic visitors in the Gulf of Eilat. Several manta rays, a mobula ray, whale sharks, and fin whales have been spotted in the waters off the coast of the southern Red Sea resort city. The maritime mammals and fish arrived early this year. Dr. Adi Barash with the Steinhardt Museum of Natural History says that the appearances may unfortunately be linked to the deteriorating condition of the biblical Red Sea. Manta rays are typically seen only a few times a year in Israel, but there have already been nearly a dozen glimpses just this summer alone.
Archaeologists with the Temple Mount Sifting Project in Jerusalem discovered a clay seal dating back to the time of the First Temple. The artifact is engraved with the Hebrew name that appears in the Bible. It reads, belonging to Yediah, son of Asayahu. According to Zachi Devira, who directs the work, it's only the second time since the Temple Mount Sifting Project began more than 20 years ago that they have uncovered a seal with such a complete inscription. Researchers date the item to the 7th or 6th century before the Common Era. The name Asiyah appears in the Bible several times in connection with the reign of Josiah, the 16th king of Judah. Clay impressions were used for the management of storehouses during the First Temple period.
Well, before you leave, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Also, we would love to hear how the Lord is moving and touching your heart right now. So be sure to comment below and then share this video with someone you feel needs it just as much as you did.